Hi, good evening. I'm Anna Olsen here on tonight's segment with Anna Olsen Insights into Consciousness, A1R Radio. I am going to take a caller tonight on the phone, but first I wanted to go over a couple of things that I really felt moved to talk about. And I always try to share the things that I've been taught in my training as a life coach with experiential psychology. I like to mix that in a little bit with the intuition because I really think that that can be useful for people, especially when we're dealing with things that they're not totally consciously aware of, that are kind of in the subconscious. And I really just get message from Spirit before my shows to try to figure out what it is that I should cover that would be most beneficial for the people who will be watching that day, that night, that time. And so I'm going to just, first of all, go over how we all are kind of in a state of dealing with a lot of different opinions about whether you're wearing a mask, whether you are keeping your social distancing right now during this pandemic, or how much you're going outside. And it's really hard to do the right thing right now because there's so much contradictive information about how communicable diseases are passed around, how they are caught, how, we don't even know much about this virus. And there's a lot of science that we're not real clear on yet. So we're really all just doing our best. And, my take is it's always better safe than sorry, but not everyone feels that way. And we all have to respect each other's opinion. So the first thing that I like to look at when either I'm worried about offending someone or I'm worried about them offending me and really taking things personally at a time like this, when there's high stress times, those are the times that we're really better off not taking anything personally. And we are much better off without all of the arguments or the trying to win with words, because there really isn't such a thing. And the only thing we can do when we're lashing out or acting emotionally or impulsively when we're speaking to someone, the only thing that can do is damage our relationships and burn our bridges. And so I have a really great tool that I use and that I have been taught during my training for life coaching and through experiential psychology. And that is that, I learned it in a dyad. So that means you partner up with somebody and you do an exercise to teach you in detail exactly how this works. But to give a synapse of the lesson, it's basically called Blue Frog. So the whole thing that we learn about in the trainings that I went through is Blue Frog and how that affects other people. Some people call this exercise, I don't know, whatever, green turtle, or it's just, there's whatever fits the exercise will fit the exercise. But if somebody came up to you and called you a blue frog, would it offend you? No. I mean, it sounds silly going into it, but it's because you're aware that you're not a blue frog, and that makes that person just look kind of crazy. You obviously know there's something going on, and they're coming up to you and calling you a blue frog. Okay, so if you know that you are not, in fact, a blue frog, and they call you a blue frog, it's just on them. So the idea is to take this ideology that everybody is really just projecting their ideas on you and on each other, and they're really just working out their own anxiousness and feelings of either repression or powerlessness by lashing out at others or judging others. It's basically a much more pleasant pastime to judge someone else and lash out at them rather than looking inward and really figuring out what's going on with yourself. So what we do is we ask somebody, are you a blue frog? No. Why did that not offend you? The same goes for anything anyone would say. If it doesn't ring true for you when they say it to you, it's not going to offend you because it's not going to hurt your feelings. It's not going to trigger you. It's not going to hit a soft spot. So the idea is to say, well, is it true? And if it is, what do I need to do about that? Does that actually mean that I need to have more control and power over the way I'm behaving and I'm appearing and affecting others? And so this can be a very powerful tool in giving yourself more power in a situation where somebody is basically acting in a really disrespectful way. And we all want respect. We all want to be able to feel safe around people. But here's the catch. Sometimes when you're feeling unsafe with somebody, sometimes they're just telling you something that's true. And that's no reason to, be down on yourself or be hard on yourself. It's really just a way to say, wow, that did kind of ring true for me, and maybe they're right. How about that? Maybe sometimes people who are looking at us are right. And if they're not, then you just shake your head, smile, and move on. So it's a really great tool to think about what someone's saying to us and why. And if it does affect us, maybe they're right. If it doesn't bounce off of us as truth and it doesn't offend us and it doesn't really trigger us, we're okay. We just smile and laugh it off and go on our way, and we're none the wiser, and they don't get their payoff, because really taking offense is giving that person a lot of power over us. And, it's really about understanding that somebody who takes offense is really just handing over their power. They're more of a fool than the person handing out the put down or the criticism, because not only are you believing them or believing that they're right and giving them that much say over your life, but in addition, you're doing exactly what they're trying to do. You're allowing exactly what they're trying to do, and you're allowing them to have power and control over you. So those are just a couple of different ideas on dealing with somebody who is being combative, criticizing. Sometimes people are just having a really bad day. Sometimes somebody just lost a loved one. Sometimes they're not themselves. Sometimes it just really, they do have a pass. That's the other part of this. And it's better to shrug it off. So I think that can really help a lot of people in this situation, where not only are they dealing with a very stressful life event that we're all dealing with globally, but in addition, we have a lot of people that we're living with in our homes. We're getting cabin fever, some of us, and some of us have to be around somebody all the time that we're not used to being around half of that amount of time. And with our kids, and it's just important to go take a break. And the other part of being inside, not getting our sunlight, not getting out and doing our regular stuff, is that we can start to get symptoms of anxiety, depression, different types of, panic disorder type stuff coming up. So it's really important that we prevent the symptoms of anxiety and depression or health issues resulting from brain chemistry being off before they start. So preventative and prophylactic measures in mental health is one of the best things that we can initiate before we even get a symptom. So when we know that we're inside more, the first thing we can do is say, okay, what happens when we don't have a lot of sunlight that we're used to having, or we're not going outside, or we're not staying as busy, our bodies are not moving as much? Well, first of all, vitamin D3 is affected because we get that from the sun. So it's better to go outside, get your walks, go for a run, staying away from other people, of course, gardening, doing whatever lifts you up and makes you feel good. But you've got to get that sunlight. And people with more melanin in their skin, if you're African American, if you're Hispanic, if whatever, the darker your skin, the less vitamin D3 you absorb in any amount of time. So the lighter your skin, the more D3 doses you're going to get with, like, let's say 15 minutes of sun, opposed to somebody with darker skin, more melanin, who's going to absorb a lot less in that 15 minutes. So it's good to know that we all need our immune system to be up and running right now, and vitamin D3 is one of those things that's really going to help kickstart our immune system and relieve depression and prevent depression, because it does directly affect the serotonin levels in the brain and the brain chemistry that really does affect depression and really starting to get those blues, and you're not sure why. You're kind of like, oh, I haven't had to go to work and deal with all that stress, or maybe you're more stressed because you're financially not okay. But either way, you'll wonder, oh, well, I'm inside more. I'm supposed to be resting. I'm supposed to be getting more time to do the things I want to do. Why am I getting depressed? You're not going outside. You're not doing all those things that you're supposed to do. if you are dealing with more stress right now financially, and you are dealing with more of these issues that we're all facing financially in a way of like, okay, how am I going to pay my bills? What is this going to look like in, 3 or 6 months? Those are the questions that you can really ask a friend. You can just get support from FaceTiming. I've been FaceTiming a lot of my friends. There's lots of alternative ways to prevent these signs of depression, anxiety, or the blues. So exercise daily, cardio, meaning cardio, and sunlight daily, at least 3 times a week, 15 minutes at least, and don't burn yourself, of course. And then, of course, eating good foods, taking care of your health in the way that you're not gaining a lot of weight by eating a lot of these carbohydrates that aren't good for us, high protein, lower fat, lower carb foods with higher nutrients like vegetables, and maybe even plant a garden right now. It's a good time to plant a garden. It's the spring. Gardening is good for us. Anything with negative ions, putting our hands in the dirt, being outside, being near the ocean, salty air. These are all the things in nature that give us those negative ions. Being near nature in general gives us those negative ions, which relieves and alleviates any sign of depression, actually changes the chemistry in the brain along with that sunlight, which affects the D3 and the serotonin levels. So that said, I would like to do a reading now. I'm going to go to my caller, Anne, in Ontario, Canada. Anne, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So I'm going to do a reading for you tonight, and I know we're kind of in the middle of a pandemic. How are you doing with all of that?
It's actually just recently starting now to get really stressful because there's really nothing I could do. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to the mall. It's just like sit outside your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're having some stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit with the kids and stuff, right?
Okay. So, what is it? What is your question tonight for me for a reading?
My question tonight was just actually if I was going to do a random general question, anything, and house, anything general, anything that comes to you, whatever you're feeling, if anything's drawn to you, anything.
Okay. So it was a little hard to hear you. I think your connection's a little bit patchy, but I heard that anything that comes to me or a general reading, is that basically?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. So, Anne, the first thing that I am feeling for you is that your sense of community is really important to you and your family. So,
yeah.
I'm really feeling like there's a sense of community that you're really able to connect with again right now, but there's also a part of your community and people who you usually are close to that are not around you, and that's been a big adjustment for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. And so, I know that there's all the basic things that people are worried about right now with the pandemic and all of the different things that are going on with that. But my advice to you right now would be to really pay attention to your emotions and get in touch with those emotions and how you're feeling about the people that you love in your life. Now, do you usually have a day job that you go to that you're not going to right now?
I go to a few things actually that I'm not able to get to right now. So it's really actually irritating for me and frustrating. I'm supposed to go every 2 weeks because of my health. I have fibromyalgia, so I get injections, and I can't be going for those right now because doctors are closed and I can't get in, and so much. And it's really frustrating to the pain, and it just it's just so frustrating right now. So I have to deal with the pain, and I can't get in for my injections, and I got other things going on, so I can't get in for ultrasound things. It's just so much going on. It's just irritating and frustrating, And they're like, all my friends, it's like, just lately I haven't been talking to them, and I feel bad, but I just started talking to them today and apologize for being a crappy friend, you know, because I haven't talked to anybody. And, yeah.
Okay, so you're definitely been dealing with a lot of those frustrations, a lot of those feelings of not able to do what you were doing in your regular everyday life. So
Yes.
now's the time, I feel like, is a really good time for you to start this new chapter in your life where you get to connect again with yourself, but also to stay in good contact with your friends, your regular friends, phone calls. If you can do FaceTime, or even social media has certain types of video calling where you can see their face and their facial expressions too. That can really be very helpful. Now,
that does help. Yes.
Yeah. And I really feel like you getting outside more is going to help you. I was just talking about that before I started your reading. How often are you getting outside?
I'm actually just, today for the first time in my, just to get out, like just to get out, I don't know, first in a while, and it was nice, and just been a while. I think I do go appointments and stuff, but just to get out and around, yeah.
Okay. Well, so it seems like that would be good for you to do right now, to really get in touch with your spirituality and spend a lot more time on your spirituality, because this whole transition with the pandemic is going to be a new chapter for a lot of people. Things are not going to be exactly the same after this. And for most people, it's going to be very different.
Okay.
Now,
yeah.
I feel like for you, it's
definitely going to be the same.
Yeah, I feel like for you, it's going to be a lot different. And really, it's a break from society, and it's a commitment to our spiritual growth, because we're going through a time where a lot of people, most people, are really dissecting what they've been doing with their lives, how it is that they've gotten where they are, looking at new possibilities. It's forcing everybody to take a break and to really analyze their lives. And I think that that's really good work. And I think it's good work for you too. I think it's a good time. I know it's frustrating, but I think that getting outside, I was just saying, it's hard for a lot of everybody right now to get their exercise, go outside. But I really do think that's going to be conducive for you to really get to feeling better, less frustrated. It will really help you with all these emotions going through you right now. And to go ahead and just go inward, where you're kind of being a hermit, and that's okay. A lot of us have to be right now. But just when you feel called to do it, call your friends, call your family that you're not seeing right now. And I do have an interesting feeling about you specifically, that if you do feel like you should get in touch with a family member or a friend, and you're kind of worried about being exposed, it's probably better that you stay inside and away from them for as long as possible. Meaning there is a risk for you to possibly get sick. And I don't want to scare you. It's just that I get it, and I get it from spirit, and then I just relay the message. So I'm wondering if maybe you're in the category of being at risk.
Being sick?
Yeah, getting this virus. And I'm not trying to scare you. I don't think you will get it. I think it's just about really being cautious and really respecting those boundaries and those social distancing, because I want to see you healthy.
Yeah, I can't get sick right now neither, though, too, right? Because my health is not well right now neither, right? I just was feeling that and I'm trying to get in to get checked and everything, and I can't even do that because doctors and everything closed, right? And I just have this really feeling about this one thing on me that I just found out, and I think I know what it is.
Okay.
You get that? Yeah. And the doctor checked it, and he was really concerned. So and I'm really concerned. And I can't get over ultrasound. Everything's closed, and having a hard time frustrating.
Okay, well, it's really
I apologize though.
Connection right now, so I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cut off the call because I really can't hear you. If we do have another caller, I'll have to take the next one. I'm sorry. I think that the connection was bad, but basically, hopefully she can see this video afterwards, and hopefully she can replay this. But what I saw for you was some health issues, and I saw that there was some blood sugar issues, that those need to be dealt with for sure. And the best way to do that right now is to really look at your diet and add a lot more of the green leafies to your diet. That will help you significantly, and go outside into the sun. Be careful not to get burned, of course. Also, lots of fresh, clean water, no soda, no coffee. Taper off of that. And to really just manage it the best way you can at home. Google the things you need to Google. Stay away from people who might be sick, large crowds of people right now. I would say, well, actually, limit it enough to where you're really safe until, and I'm getting August to September, actually, for you specifically. So I'm seeing that there are some other health issues that you're dealing with that aren't getting addressed, and that you really need to be able to talk to a doctor. And I think that can be done on teleconferencing. If you were to make an appointment with a doctor that you could speak to via Zoom or something like that. And I know there are some labs that they may have to order, but they can do that. And so you can do it that way. So next I have Amanda in Illinois. And I have about 5 minutes left. Amanda, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. So I have about 5 minutes, but I really want to do a reading for you. What is it that you'd like to ask tonight?
I want to ask my sister if she has any special messages for me.
Okay.
Her name was Andy.
Andy. Okay. I'm just focusing a little bit, and the first thing that I'm getting is that you guys had let's see, I'm seeing you guys playing outside, and I'm seeing a field. I don't know if there's sunflowers or another type of flower, but I see you guys playing, and I see that you guys are, Is this like a farm, or are you raised on a farm, or is this like out in the nature?
No, it was just our backyard, our old back house, our old backyard.
Okay. I see you guys playing out there, and I see that she's still with you. She's saying when you see sunflowers, she's specifically saying sunflowers, she's sending you a message. So when you go out in your day and you see sunflowers and you notice them, or they just happen to kind of pop, you're going to know that's your sister, because she's communicating with you all the time. Aww. And I really feel like, it's funny because, are you the older sister?
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like she's saying you're the queen. Like she's like, I always looked up to you, and it's really sweet because she saw you as, I don't know if you're aware of this, but she really looked up to you. She's like saying, I wanted to be just like you, but I wanted to play it off at the same time as we got older. And she really looked up to you, and she's just saying, like, just own that, like being the queen. Like she sees you as like a queen, and like she put you up on a pedestal. And also, I'm feeling like
we can figure out who killed her.
I'm so sorry to hear that. She's showing me that there's an investigator, and that he has a really good idea of what's going on, but he can't say anything yet. Are you aware of this?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, because
they're not figuring stuff out.
Yeah, they have to keep it confidential for good reason, because they can't let the information out, but there's someone onto her. a murderer, the person who was responsible for this. And the thing that they're going to do is they're going to keep getting more and more clues before they say anything. They don't want to disappoint you. That's the reason why. And Spirit's giving me permission to tell you.
Oh my gosh.
So that would mean that they're going to get more information. They're going to be able to start really taking some good leads on this, but it's going to be a while. I'm sorry to tell you that, but sometimes these things just take a long time. This perpetrator is going to be messing up again and again and again, and it's just going to take some years.
He just messaged me the other day for some stupid reason.
Oh, okay. So that's basically what I'm getting.
I love this. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome. And you can always continue the reading with me. My
Really
website, my personal website, you can reach me. All my contact info is on there. It's at the bottom of the screen, but it's AnnaOlsenintuitive.com. So it's ANNAOLSEN intuitive.com. I'd love to continue it with you. You can reach me there. My phone number's there. You can email me, but don't use the chat because you're going to need to contact me personally, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for calling in, Anne. I wish I had more time tonight.
That's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day. Have a good night. So the great thing is that she got to do a medium reading real quick. And things always happen for a reason. I only have a few seconds left, but it's one of those things. If you need a medium reading or you need a reading from me, I'm here for you. My website's AnnaOlsenintuitive.com. It's at the bottom of the screen, 2 N's, OLSEN, intuitive.com. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you next week at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time every Thursday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful night.